Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Reg,
I'm Rob.
and this is the show. Man, we got a lot to talk about. I think we should save NFL for last. What do you think?
All right, that's fine with me, man. That's
I
fine.
think you got an early lean
Yeah.
in the NFC game, just based on
Just
some things.
subtle.
Yeah, very
Subtle.
subtle, very subtle. It looks like we representing one team on that side, but we'll see. I'm actually representing the Generals though. Well, you could say I'm representing Tar Heels too, but
Yeah.
so
That's
Hubert
close
Davis.
enough.
We haven't talked much college basketball. I mean, I know you really don't look at it till March, but I guess Carolina with the 6-year seniors, they didn't bounce back. A little mix, but did they beat Wake or not? I want to make sure I'm not talking out
You
my
know
head.
what? I'm not even sure because
I think they
haven't paid attention. I really haven't paid attention.
Well, they number 3 in the
Yeah.
country. So it's UConn, Purdue, and Carolina.
Yeah,
So,
but I haven't watched the game. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I know one college basketball team I have vowed off watching, so I will not be watching one particular basketball team. I just can't do it. All right, let's move on. Let's talk NBA. Now, imagine you're a first-year coach with 2 Hall of Famers, and you got the second best record in the league, and you get fired.
The first reaction was, wow, is it that bad in the locker room?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all the reports coming out. Yeah, players are basically drawing their own plays, and it's like, it sounds bad, but was it that bad? I mean,
right.
You don't think of Milwaukee is like that team where it's like, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. They're not that team. Like, if that was the case, they wouldn't have lost to Miami last year. This isn't that kind of team. So I'm just trying to find the fine line, like where did it really go wrong?
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew the brother was in trouble. Giannis was sending too many smoke signals, and I don't think it was about his brother, but I mean, he was sending too many smoke signals about we need to coach better, we need to play better, we need, after these disappointing losses. But I'm sitting here saying, what NBA team in an 82 game season is not going to have like bad losses? You're going to have a couple of them. You're going to get caught on a night.
But they've had some really, really bad.
They've had some strange ones. I mean, Detroit's won, 5 or 6 games, and they've been competitive with Milwaukee like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah,
they've given up too many points. Of course, the Pacers own them right now.
The blowout in Atlanta.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, beat them by like 40.
I mean, Utah got them at the crib. I think that was the one that really probably sealed the deal. It was a matter of time. And then, of course, 2 close games against Detroit. But it's like everybody said, listen, you sent your defender away. You sent the guy that set the defensive tone away. I never heard of Malik Beasley being a great defender.
No.
Dame, we know Dame's not a great defender. I mean, Giannis can play, but they don't put Giannis on the best player to
lock it down. Yeah.
Brook Lopez, I mean, he's not a great defender. And Middleton's kind of not healthy 100% to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, what were they expecting?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, no, you got rid of the defensive pieces. So,
right.
Yeah, it's going to look funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and while it started off rocky, it seemed like the ship had sort of straightened itself out.
Exactly.
So whether it was he figured it out or the players' input got it together, it seemed like it was starting to go on the right track. I mean, yeah, there's only 3 teams with 30 wins. So,
Right.
but yeah, man, it was crazy. And then it got crazier when they went and grabbed Doc.
Doc said, "Let me out of this booth, man. You can have Doris, you can have this. I'm out." But here's the thing. I'm gonna say something. I guess I'm saying it on record on the internet forever, but Doc, man, yeah, but and Doc a little overrated to you.
Captain of the 3-1 blow.
It's,
I mean, I like
a
Doc.
tiny
Don't
bit.
get me wrong. I like
Me
Doc.
too. I like Doc.
I want Doc to succeed here, but
Love for him to win another championship.
man, I
I
mean,
can't see it.
no, you've been handed like great talent, and you got just one. You got just one,
I just,
and it doesn't help that Philly looks like noticeably better.
Philly looks noticeably better. Nurse has already been there, been down that road, and not with the best talent. Toronto beat Milwaukee in that run
Yeah,
when they won the final, and to me, it looks like a second round, and that's gonna blemish Doc again, man. Another second round exit to me is what it's looking like.
yeah,
Now, you got Freak, you got Dame, but somehow you got to figure out how to fit those guys cohesively. And it really, that is taking to me a little bit longer than maybe that's why Griffin got fired. I mean, because
it's
how do
possible,
you not
but
have that going?
like we said, Middleton really still isn't healthy. So it's like until you got all 3 cylinders firing at full strength, you really don't know how to put it together.
You're a big 2.5, and that's a problem. But speaking of NBA, I know we ran through and we said Boston's probably going to win the East. Trade deadline's approaching. Philly's looking strong. I still want to give a shout out to those young teams out west. I don't think we talked about them enough, man. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, we already said he's a dog. Cat had 62 the same night that Embiid had 70.
And they blew it.
And they blew it. They blew it.
Wow.
But did you hear? But see, that's a young team, young, immature team. Anthony Edwards admitted they was trying to get Cat to 100, basically, when he was hot in the first half. And the coach was mad and sat Cat at the end of the game and then put him back in. And then he may or may not gotten fouled. But I like Minnesota. I think if they stay healthy, they're definitely going to be a threat. They're going to have to beat one of these veteran teams that's down in the standings. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Phoenix. I watched Phoenix last night a little bit. I mean, the Mavericks can't guard anybody, but Dallas was up 16 and probably end up getting beat by 16, 18.
Yeah.
So, Booker, man, I will say this. Devin Booker definitely is he's earning some stripes from me too. But we'll see in the playoffs. He's got to take it another level, another playoff run, because he had that finals run, but we'll see. I still am like, who are they going to guard? And Bradley Beal is the ghost of Bradley Beal right now. So that's some concern. The Lakers fighting with Utah for the 8th spot. Golden State is 12th. So, and then, of course, that young team in Oklahoma City, man, with all them draft picks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a team that's got a chance. It's weird to say this, but they got a chance to be a dynasty if they figure it out in the playoff run. I don't think they will. I mean, I think they'll get beat by a veteran team. But.
Did you watch your boy Chet versus Wemby? Dog?
Was that was last night, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was on ESPN. I didn't catch it. So did Wemby get the better or did Chet get the better?
So Wemby had better numbers, but like basically all the action took place in the fourth quarter. Yeah. That's when they were going at it. like
Mhm.
them two head
Yeah.
up. So it was interesting and it was weird. It just it looked funny
Yeah.
because they both so big or
Yep.
whatever. But yeah, man, you see some fight in Wimby, like
Yeah.
because Chet was getting it, and then Wimby is like, wait a minute, wait, but I mean, yeah, I think he had 24, Chet had 17.
Mhm.
What Wimbiana's line was 24-12 and 4 blocks. Chet was like 17-9, couple blocks. But
I'm just glad to see you didn't come around to my boy. Because I told you before the season, I was like,
but
yeah,
we
was
already
the
know how this is going to play out, man. Like if anybody's going to be Ralph Sampson, it's going to be him.
Wimbiana.
No. Chet's already on that path. He's like, we already got a season missed, man.
He already missed
On the
one.
Ben Simmons program.
Well, remember Blake Griffin missed the season,
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
Ben
true.
Simmons, man. I heard Ben might be back next week.
Who cares?
This is all the believe it when I see it, right?
Yeah, we're at this point now. Who cares? Like
Exactly.
who cares? Like when I got a buddy who's like a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even gonna say big fan because just being a fan alone says it all. But like every
He's a
time I
Ben
text,
Simmons fan or a Brooklyn
yeah,
Nets fan?
Ben Simmons, yes,
Oh
Ben
my
Simmons. So like every time that comes up, I always type out his name is Been Simmons.
goodness. That's not nice. That's not very nice. So
Hey man, the writing was on the wall, but hey, I mean,
definitely, definitely. So that's probably enough NBA talk. That's probably about as much NBA as we've talked.
I know.
Uh, coaching carousel. We talked a little bit about Doc. What do you think about the NFL coaching search so far?
So I'm happy for Raheem. I'm
Yeah.
happy for Raheem. I'm happy because he's got pieces.
Yep.
There are pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
The big piece isn't there, but most of the pieces are there. Most
That
of the pieces
was
are there.
my tweet. Now
Yeah.
that would be the time we cut to my tweet, but my tweet was, "I'm happy for him. You better get a QB, bro, because it'll be a short trip if you don't get a QB."
Yeah. So, uh, yeah, that's cool.
That could be on
The
that
kick,
Justin Fields plan.
hey man, that should be it. But I don't know, man. It's like you hear Chicago's going to trade Fields,
Mm-hmm.
take Williams, and it's like I don't know. I mean, we talked about it, and I get
Yeah.
it, but I don't.
I think,
Man,
you know what? Why? You know what? I'm coming around to what you say. I would keep Fields. I wouldn't even trade him. And if you want to pick Williams, pick Williams because you still have the same clock that you have if you trade Fields and
mm-hmm.
you pick Williams. But at least now you can say, okay, we're going to wait till our guy is truly ready. Now it does indicate to Justin Fields that he's not your guy, but at the same time, you got a QB battle, and you're going to wait till Caleb Williams is ready to play before you play him. So it could be an Alex Smith lamed up situation where Justin Fields plays out the season and we see, but having that guy in the rearview mirror, I mean, Tyler Bagent wasn't in Fields' rearview mirror. He wasn't afraid of him. But
Yeah,
Caleb
no,
Williams, that's
yeah,
a guy that you got to
yeah,
stay sharp to stay on the field.
yeah. That's things appear closer than they are.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially, it depends. Well, they went and got Shane Waldron, which, I mean, it's a head scratcher for me, but, guys are guys. People know people. A lot of these coaches getting hired because they got the same agent as the head coach or the same agent as the
But
GM.
yeah, mm,
I don't know. Shane Waldron was the offensive coordinator of the whom this year?
I have no idea. It slipped my
He was
mind.
in Seattle though, right?
Seattle.
He was in
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah, he was in
He was with
Seattle.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
So Seattle strike you as a dominant, dynamic offense?
No, not at all.
Me neither. Except for against the Lions. Every time they play the Lions, they put up 40+ points. But
But yeah, no,
they
no.
did look good against the Cowboys too on that Thursday night game.
But yeah, no, that's not the answer.
Better than Getsy though.
Yeah, that's a. It's the Bears though. It's the
It's
Bears.
the Bears.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You trade that. Keep Fields. Trade the pick. You're gonna get 3 number ones. Yeah. I mean, we just saw last year you couldn't get 2 number ones for a former MVP who was only 26 years old at quarterback.
Right.
Take those picks, run with it.
Well, that's that was like you said, collusion. But
Yeah.
anyways, so we're I'm happy with the Raheem. I want to talk about Raheem Morris real quick.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I didn't understand why he wasn't talked up more as a candidate. To me, he's a former head coach. He got the Bucks job when he was probably not ready, but he got the Bucks job. He still had a playoff appearance as a
Mm-hmm.
coach. He had a 10-win season as a coach, but it went sideways, and he learned from it. And then he goes and he has to kind of build his resume back up. He goes to Atlanta. He's on the offensive side of the ball. He was a wide receiver coach, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
he's on the offensive side of the ball. I think he was on that staff when they went to the Super Bowl against New England. And then he ends up in LA and he's the defensive coordinator. So here's a guy that number one, he's been a head coach. He's been a guy that's understood the offensive side of things. And he's been a guy that has run a Super Bowl winning defense.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this guy go that many years without, to me? So I think Atlanta made a great pick. Number one, I think New Orleans is on the
Yeah.
New
No,
Orleans is in trouble.
that division's
Tampa,
garbage. That division's
Tampa's going to
garbage.
be 8-9 win team. No, none of those teams are going to be. And then we got to talk about your boy. You want Carolina's head coaching hire first, or you want me to tackle that one?
It we'll start with you because we'll start with the good.
I just, how does a guy that has 1 year as a coordinator? Now I understand relationships are everything. I get it. So the new GM worked with this guy, blah blah blah. But how do you pass up all these other guys for this guy who was the offensive coordinator? Now he's a hot offensive coordinator. Like, wasn't Tampa Bay like 20th ranked offense or something? I mean, it's like they were last in run offense.
Man.
Now they got Bryce Young, who's 5, whatever. You think he might need a running game? You had no running game in Tampa, but he's a QB guru now, I guess, because Geno had a comeback season and Baker had a comeback season. So now Bryce is going to have a comeback season. I just don't get it. I don't know the guy. I guess he did all right. But
So, like, this hire, like, has me like, you couldn't get the guy in Houston the job who's getting all the pub. Like,
yeah, Bobby.
I would take that over this.
Right.
Which I wasn't for that, by the way. I wasn't
Right.
for that. I
Right.
don't care what tree you was on. Don't mean you are the right thing.
Right.
But man, hey man, it starts at the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to be bad for a long time. Those picks the Bears got, that's great. That's that's going to be great for the Bears. This is all around bad, man. It is all around bad, and I don't know. Yeah, yeah, they're getting what they deserve, and Yeah, call it the curse of Steve Wilkes. I don't know.
Could be. Could be the curse of Steve
But
Wilkes.
yeah,
But yeah,
they're getting what they deserve. You know what? Yeah. You had that uh Panthers fans, if you're out there. Yeah, good
yeah,
luck.
that's true. I don't think I've met a Panthers fan. But
Yeah.
I will say this. It just helps Raheem. If he gets a quarterback, they can win the South.
Oh
I might have
yeah.
been a year early.
They'll win the South. If they
And then
find anything decent. I would say if they just grab anybody, but almost
almost.
like almost anything that's going to be available is going to be an upgrade to what's in the building.
Almost. Almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be
I
interesting to
mean,
see what happens with Russell.
don't get Trubisky, but like pretty
Right.
much everything else.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. That's interesting. And then, of course, we got to talk about the big hire that we've been talking about all year. You got to talk about those LA Chargers and the coach that they got to help the quarterback and that talented roster that I keep hearing about that underachieves every year in LA. What do you think about the Harbaugh hire?
Inevitable.
Yeah, he was coming back.
Well, that and with the mess that's being left behind in Michigan,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was inevitable, whether it was Chargers or somebody else. But
Yeah. Are you surprised it was the Chargers and not like the Bears or?
No. Bears fans are upset and whatnot, and oh, he would have loved to coach Caleb Williams, but they're deciding to keep Justin and da da da. It's just like you all didn't want that. Just be glad. Just be glad. And
Well, we know this. Jim Harbaugh, everywhere he's been, running game. So I know one thing: the LA Chargers are going to run the football. So that may help Justin Herbert be more efficient, be a better player. The AFC West, one little interesting thing, everybody keeps saying Andy Reid might give it up. Are you get that sense that Andy Reid might pack it up and get up out of there?
No.
Okay. No. Any other surprise? I guess since the Eagles kept Sirianni, which I don't really see any surprise firings after. So we only got the Commanders and
Titans.
No, Titans got Brian Callahan.
Oh, that's right. They did. They did get Callahan.
I forgot about
that.
They got Callahan.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's just Commanders and Seattle.
And everybody's assuming that Seattle's gonna be Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn had a
my assumption, but I mean, the longer it drags out, I don't know.
I'm shocked that Vrabel didn't get one. I'm not really shocked that Belichick didn't get a job.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not. It's like,
but I'm shocked that Vrabel's still on the table because I think Vrabel's a good football coach. I think the next place he goes, he's going to build at least a stretch of winning somewhere.
Yeah.
But
that'll be New England next year.
Oh, we got to talk about Mayo. Well, I think Mayo, you don't give Mayo more than 1 year now. Come on.
Reg, I really, truly, in the bottom of my heart, would love to believe that, but we've seen this act. We've seen this in this league where, yeah.
The setup was in, like the Texans.
David Collins. Like where it's like, you got the chance, but you got like the worst hand.
That roster's terrible, and you don't have a quarterback, so that's 2 things.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, you can come play this hand of spades for me, and you give him the 2 and 3 of spades and no face cards, and like, man, Yeah, I wish him the best.
Mhm.
I hope that like he has the command of that locker room and the respect that
Mhm.
everybody gives their best and they overachieve. Uh, but I'm scared. I'm scared of that situation. I would not be shocked if it's a one and done and all of a sudden, oh, let's go get Vrabel. He just sat out a year and refreshed and da da da. And
Mhm.
yeah, I hope I'm wrong, but
Well, to the coaches, NFL coaches next year, they're going to have to hear all year, you're on the hot seat because Belichick's out there and Vrabel's out there. And
well,
so
it'll
that's
be
going to be,
Vrabel. I think, yeah, I think Belichick sits out this year. I think he'll be done.
he wants that Shula record, man. So I don't know where he could go or who would take him because if Blanks didn't take him, then
Well, but this is the NFL. It's going to be 7 jobs next year.
yeah.
It'll be another 7 next year. So it's just the way it is now.
Well,
You
maybe
just
the Philadelphia thing. Sirianni's kind of been set up to fail. I mean, he just hired Fangio a day
yeah.
after Fangio quit. So,
How does they quit or did they let him go?
nah, he resigned.
No, he resigned from my.
Yeah,
How you resign and get
probably.
the same spot?
You know how that works. The DC job in Philly is open. Sirianni makes that call. Hey, come
Yeah.
on, man, come help me. Fangio's like, I'm out. I guess he's from Pennsylvania or whatever, too. So I don't know. But Vic Fangio, I mean, obviously he's solid D coordinator.
Oh yeah.
Don't let him be your head coach.
Yeah, yeah, no. Well, he's proven he can do that.
Yeah. So that'll be good. He's got some pieces. Um, we'll see. They sort of gotta retool and they gotta get Jalen healthy. But it'll be interesting. Next year will be interesting. Pierce with the Raiders will be interesting. The fact that the AFC West has Pierce, Peyton, Harbaugh, and Reed, you know, that'll be interesting. That whole thing. All the AFC quarterbacks, they got to get in line. We're gonna talk the game, but Mahomes
Mhm.
kind of told Josh, "Come sit down, young man. You're not ready yet. You're not ready for this yet. This is another level." But all those AFC quarterbacks. I mean, Burrow comes back next year. I mean, when Burrow comes back, he's got to be back in the conversation. It'll
Oh
be
yeah.
interesting to see what they do with their wide receiver situation. I mean, I think Higgins. I don't think they can keep Higgins. I think somebody's gonna because they got to pay Chase. So
Oh yeah, yeah. That has to happen.
it
Like
has to
that's at the top of the priority board.
right. So they're gonna pay Chase. They're not gonna have enough money to pay T. So he's gonna be somewhere. That
Yeah.
is my dog currently scratching like he's a DJ. He's on the little mini treadmill. So
It's great.
yeah,
So Eric Bieniemy.
like the forgotten man, the forgotten man.
So all these years you go to the Super Bowl, nobody wants to wait to hire you.
Right.
And you
Right.
go to Washington, first half of the year, offense is clicking.
Right.
Or injuries hit, your offense is clicking.
Yeah.
Kansas City's isn't.
Right. All year.
And crickets? Like
Crickets.
crickets. Nothing.
Crickets. I mean, they said the Commanders interviewed him, but I think it's all a show. I mean, they want Ben Johnson, so I mean I think that was probably the least kept secret that they probably gonna go after Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. Bobby Slowick is supposed to be a candidate in Seattle too, but I think Bobby might have missed his, which I'm disappointed I would have loved to see a new offense coordinator in Houston. For some reason, CJ's got two different offense coordinators. It'd be wonderful. But no, yeah, I was kind of depending on somebody to pick him up so CJ could have to learn a new system, which he's proven he could do. But I don't know. Kind of a joke, but I am disappointed about the Bieniemy thing. I heard somebody on NFL radio. They said Raheem Morris or Bieniemy, and the dude said neither. And he didn't elaborate. And he said he knows both guys. So what's that about? And what Dave Canales can get a job. And Bieniemy, who's got 2 rings, 3 Super Bowl appearances, can't get a job.
And regardless if you think Reed was calling the plays or not, there was a difference this year.
Yeah.
And that whole team was intact. I mean, minus Juju Smith-Schuster, which you're not going to tell me, that was a key loss. And it threw this whole offense off.
And that's what I'm saying. Listen, in the Super Bowl 19 highlight, we're always going to have this. Pat was talking to Bieniemy when they were talking about what play to run in that crucial third down situation. I mean, Bieniemy definitely, we got video that he had some input into this offense in some play calling, and the play worked. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's a terrible interview. I don't know. But it just would seem like somebody would say, hey, man, let's give this guy a shot. He's got the resume. I mean, he's got to respect the players, and he's got the success. So I don't know. It's a great mystery.
The moving of the goalpost.
I just don't want him to be the Rooney Rule guy. You see all these guys like Evero now, Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson got head coaching interviews and got fired. And it's like, I just don't want him to be the Rooney guy. Hey, let's bring in Bieniemy to satisfy half of the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, let's talk some football. So, first game we get to see on Sunday. Hey, this is a get your popcorn ready Sunday too. First game, Chiefs, Ravens. Not going to ask you to pick yet, but what are your initial thoughts on the game?
So, I think the biggest thing that people are overlooking, Casey's defense, man. Casey's defense. Now, I think Baltimore is the best team left.
Yeah.
However, the best players on the other sideline.
Right.
As much as I love Lamar, the dude on the other sideline has been proving it year in and year out.
Yep.
That no, you're gonna have to be on your A game to get rid of me, or half of my team's gonna be gone. One of the two. but
either you better injure half his offensive line.
Yeah.
Or
so I think it'll be good. I don't think it'll be as high scoring. But I'm really looking forward to that one.
It's going to be, I called last week a slugfest. This is going to be a slobber knocker. Let's just put it that way. But I think one of the things, I mean, there's so many great statistics in this game. Number one, if I asked you off the top of your head which defense hasn't given up more than 27 points in a game, you probably think Baltimore, but it's Kansas City. And Kansas City, at the beginning of the season, they weren't giving up more than 20 points a game. And so, of course, if the game is in the 20s, Pat already's got a chance. Because 21 and 24, I mean, Kansas City, even though they struggle,
They
can
can
get to
find their
20
way
points.
there.
Right. So that's one thing. The other thing is just, I mean, obviously, Pat, as long as he's on this trajectory, he's gonna get compared to Brady. He is this generation's Brady. It's already done. I mean, they got such similar stats. If Pat goes to his fourth Super Bowl in 6 years and wins his third, he's right where Brady was after 7 seasons. They both have 7 seasons. They both have 3 Super Bowls, and they both had been. Well, actually, had gone to more because he would have gone to 4 in his first 6 years starting. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, man, I understand that people are probably going to get tired of Patrick Mahomes as much as people talk about him and they make fun of Romo and they make fun of Chris Collinsworth. But man, this dude, like you said it. This dude's an alien, man. You don't see this. You don't see this. Kansas City fans, they have no idea what they're watching, but they will the minute he's gone. They're gonna miss what has been put on the field. I mean, it's the same way here in Indianapolis. I mean, Peyton Manning, I think people knew what Indianapolis had in Peyton Manning, but when he's gone, it's like, man, 12 wins a year, 10, 11, 12 wins a year.
Yeah.
You know, like Kansas City, you can pencil in 11. You don't know how it's going to happen, but 11 of these getting done. The dude has never lost his division, and he just had his first road playoff game in 6 seasons last week. So it's just like Lamar said, it's hard to pick against that guy. I might do it, but it's hard to pick against Kansas City because they've been there. Their defense is good. Andy Reid's been there plenty of times. Kelsey's woken up. Right, Rashee Rice, they figured out, hey, let's stop all the.
This is the other person who can catch the ball.
Right. And Valdez-Scantling caught 2 last week. And they weren't simple catches. And he didn't drop them.
Yeah, so that means this
and
week
then and don't forget Pacheco. I mean, Pacheco's a hard runner and he's gonna pick up the tough yards. So man, it's hard to pick against him. So I'll save it at the end. We'll just have that brief question. What's your Super Bowl? Let's go to the NFC real quick. What you think?
Man. You know what I think, man? Oh, man.
This the game that Brock Purdy.
So I'm gonna leave that part alone. Green Bay had that game.
Green Bay
had them, and they made young team mistakes,
right?
And it cost them at the end,
right?
That being said, I don't know if Detroit's defense is any better than Green Bay's.
No, I don't think it is.
So, look, everything is pointing Niners. It should be the Niners, but I think it's pretty obvious where my rooting interest will be.
Yeah, I think so. We see the jersey. That'd be something for our audience to figure out. Who is that number 10 Detroit Lion jersey? I tell you what, respect Dan Campbell. My respect for Dan Campbell has grown. I kind of had the same reaction everybody had when Dan Campbell had his first press conference. Like,
oh yeah, no, that was great.
He's nuts.
Yes.
But players love to play for him. The toughness, he's got that Vrabel thing, I'll hit you without a helmet on, that kind of thing, And he's just a tough guy. He's built the team in his image. Love that they had their own plan. They didn't care what everybody else, all the draft experts. Why are you picking a running back that early? Because we want to. And we like Jahmyr Gibbs, and that's that. And then they drafted well with Laporta and Branch and Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. That dude is just a baller. He's just a
Yeah.
baller. But here is your issue. And this is what you're going to have to sweat all Sunday. His name is Jared Goff. And I understand the fans of Detroit embracing him, and that's great. Jared Goff, man, that's what you got to survive. If he manages the game and doesn't get offended by Cam calling him a game manager, manage the game, don't turn it over, make the throws you can make the layups, as Chris Ballard said about Carson Wentz, make your layups, then I think they're going to be in it. And I think if Detroit's in it at the end, I think it could be trouble. But then there's that other stuff. There's that Thanksgiving Day game against Green Bay when he's throwing interceptions. And it's like, if that Goff shows up. But I did tweet earlier this week that they kind of remind me of that 18 Rams team that went to New Orleans and beat them. And it's just, it could happen. But
no, it could. I don't see San Fran playing another bad game like that.
Nah.
I mean, or was it just Green Bay made them look that bad? I mean, that
no, I think, I don't know. The jury's out. I just think they were tight. And that bye, you saw it with the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens came out, they drove, got stalled, kicked the 3. Okay. Houston comes back, kicks the 3. Then it's kind of tick-tack, or whatever you want to call it. Then it's 10-3. Then they give up the punt return. All of a sudden, it's 10-10 because you're playing another good football team. And there's a little tightness there. And I think that's where San Fran was. And that's why what we said on Saturday, had Green Bay been able to do what they did in Dallas, which is put 7s on the board, then I think he had something. Yeah. But 6-0 when it should have been at least 10-0.
No, 16.
Right.
That pick 6. That pick 6. Like they hit him in the hands. Like you're not going to get it any better than that. That should have been a pick 6. Yeah. Couple more field goals. You looking at 16-0, like minimum off jump. And at that point, then we see,
what they're made of.
Yeah, you still want to be methodical, knowing that we're fully capable of scoring. But yeah, field goals, you're getting up field goals, no one's scared. It's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I just, Purdy, I know everybody caked up for Purdy this week, but he looked shaky in that game. I mean, he just did. I mean, he made some bad throws. Of course, they dropped the interceptions. That's the way it is. But he looked shaky. And so if he recovers from that, but I'm sitting here, let me say this real quick and I'll let you talk. I'm sitting here thinking of his playoff career. I mean, he played against Seattle at home. They were better than Seattle. He had a good game. He played against Dallas at home. That wasn't a dominating Brock Purdy performance against Dallas last year. Then he gets hurt in Philly. And then you got this other, to me, shaky performance. He did have the one good drive, which you need from your quarterback. But to me, out of the 4 playoff games, I guess 5, well, this would be the 5th one. 3 of them, he hadn't looked the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah, you already know where I'm at here.
I do.
I love everybody's like, that last drive is what you want your quarterback to do, this and that. And it's like, you know what? If he'd have played decent, you wouldn't have been in that position.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's all fine and good and all, but yeah, put your money on that, see what it gets you.
I see. This is what I say about Brock Purdy. Yes, he had a great season. There's no denying that. He put up great numbers. But you're not telling me you're taking Purdy ahead of Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Josh Allen. I mean, that's 4 off top. I wouldn't take Purdy over. I don't know. I probably there's probably 10 quarterbacks I wouldn't take Purdy.
Yeah,
And,
well,
and if people were honest, I think that's where they would come, what conclusion they'd come up with. But we'll see. So let's
yes,
go
we
ahead.
will.
Let's pick it.
Yes, we will see.
Let's pick it. Either Purdy gets stopped here or he gets stopped in the Super Bowl. I mean, against one of those defenses. But AFC, let's just put it like this. What's your Super Bowl 58 prediction?
Preseason pick KC.
Yeah.
I'm going with Detroit, man. I'm going with the Kirk Cousins curse.
Now you showed me that Kirk Cousins curse, and there's only one. Well, it's two more games for that. But is it they never been to the Super
They've
Bowl?
never been to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so
this
you're
is
going
it.
with the curse.
I'm going with the Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins curse.
All right.
You lost to Kirk Cousins, you do not go to the Super Bowl.
We're going to see if
it's going to be put to the test.
It really will. I am going with, and this is going to be strange because I didn't spend too much time talking about the Baltimore Ravens, but I kind of think it's their year. I think it's like it started off with the Lamar saga, the goodbye letter. I mean, America's game is going to be great this year because that's where it's going to start. Is that day when Lamar sent the tweet saying, "Hey, it's been great, Baltimore. I'm out." And then all the cameras at the coaches meeting on John Harbaugh, he's like, when the season starts, I think Lamar will be our quarterback. It's no problem. Just chill. I just think it's Baltimore's year. I hate saying that because I don't go against Patrick Mahomes very often. But would it surprise me if Kansas City won? No. I think Baltimore's going to win. I think it's going to be a close game. And I'm going the opposite of you in the NFC too. I think the Niners are going to win. I think they got their stinker game out the way. And I just think Detroit probably doesn't have enough. NFL is cruel like that. You get real close and then you think, oh man, next year, shoe in, we're going to the Super Bowl, and it doesn't work like that. But
usually not how it happens, yeah.
But I think the Niners are going to win. I kind of want the Lions to win, though. It'd be nice to see Detroit versus, it doesn't matter if it's Kansas City or Baltimore. I don't think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl, but either way. So the Niners definitely could win the Super Bowl. I really don't think they would beat the Ravens. Kansas City, they got that revenge factor thing, but they don't have Mahomes.
No.
So we'll see. But we're going opposite this week.
Yeah, we're going opposite.
I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about the Ravens.
So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore won. I mean, Jackson is a game changer. There's game changers in the AFC game, and there's game managers in the NFC.
Exactly.
That's what we got going on, and that'll be proven out later. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, both games should be good. Both games should be pretty good. I mean, we'll see if Detroit can really step up. I mean, they have to step up on the defensive end, but if they can get pressure on Purdy, then I mean, we'll see.
Well, they got pressure on Baker, and they got pressure on Stafford. Now, Stafford ate them up now with Puka and those guys, but
so to make everybody mad, Purdy's not Stafford.
No, he's not. I would say this too. Isn't that the game plan though? Make Brock Purdy beat you? I mean, you don't want Christian McCaffrey to beat you.
Yeah, that should be the game plan. It's like,
and you don't want Debo to beat you. I mean, you want to make the Niners throw the ball.
I mean, and they got weapons. I mean, the Niners they are a well put together team.
They are.
So yeah, Purdy shouldn't have to win you a game, but if he has to,
You're saying he's not.
then you're in trouble.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. One last thought before we scoot. I just want to say to all the NFL fans, and I'm kind of talking to myself too, probably talking to you too, and well, not you, but your brethren in Steeler Nation.
Mm-hmm.
NFC, the championship game level, why people act like winning in the playoffs is easy. Like the whole Tomlin thing, and even the Cowboys thing. The Detroit Lions have never been to the Super Bowl, and this is their second NFC Championship game. Now, the Niners have been to the NFC Championship game 19 times. They ain't been to the Super Bowl 19 times. Steelers have been to the championship game plenty of times and have fallen short in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think fans need to understand, man, it is hard to win in the NFL. So when you see what's going on in Kansas City, 6 straight AFC championships. On top of that, Andy Reid's resume. I mean, if you didn't think Andy Reid was a Hall of Fame coach before, he had 4 straight NFC championship games with Philly. He had 6 straight with Kansas City. He's had another appearance with Philly. So this will be his 11th championship game as a coach with 2 different teams. I mean, it's just like finding that guy. Like, that's why the coaching search is so important. But it's why the quarterback is so important. Because the reason why New England goes to 8 straight AFC championship games, Belichick's a big part, but Brady. So I don't know. I feel like I ended up rambling, but I just kind of wanted fans. I mean, fans on Twitter, fans everywhere, they like Buffalo. I wouldn't fire Sean McDermott. You know, people were talking about fire Sean McDermott. I wouldn't fire him, man. You're on the doorstep. You're just not at that level. I mean, last year, Cincinnati went in there and pumped them and said, hey, y'all not ready yet. Kansas City went in there. It wasn't a pumpkin, but they're not there yet. That doesn't mean with a couple more pieces, Buffalo can't get back to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. And yes, I do have to deal with my fellow Steeler fans, you know.
All the ones that want Tomlin.
A lot of them wanted Tomlin. It's just like, you're crazy. Like,
yeah.
No, I would much rather like be in the picture with a chance than knowing, we have no chance in hell.
Right.
Like, I had prepared myself for that last year. And they came through. So like this year it was like, okay. I mean, I didn't think we were a title contender, but
right.
I thought we, be close to making the playoffs. I mean, our division at the beginning of the year was very daunting. You know, you got a healthy Deshaun and then Burrow and Lamar came back. And it's like, we have the worst quarterback in this division.
Right.
But I mean, we stayed the course, do what we do, and just even with injuries, it was just like, pulling mugs off the street at the end of the year to play defense. Like, man, come on back to work, Miles Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric Rowe, you need some work. Like, just so I and being a Steelers fan, I really can't relate to. I mean, I remember in the 80s we were horrible.
Yeah.
But I really can't relate to that. Like, let's just all tear it down and rebuild. Right. And it's like, that doesn't. I mean, stats show that it can work. However, that's more on luck than an actual skill.
Right.
Yeah, more times than not, you're doing that a few times before you get it right.
Exactly.
And I know as a fan, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through all these multiple 4-win seasons.
Yeah.
My Steelers haven't picked in the top 5 since I've been on the planet.
Right. Exactly. Right. And one of the times they picked in the top 10 is because they traded into the top 10. to pay.
Yeah, yeah, because that's only happened twice. I want to say twice in the last. Yeah, we had Burris was a top 10 pick.
Yeah, and Devin Bush.
Yeah, we traded up to get Bush,
Mhm.
but that's been it since. Yeah, since
What's
the
crazy
80s.
about that ends up being two guys that didn't even finish their career with the Steelers.
Yeah, well, Bush, if it weren't for the injury, I think he would have been fine. I
Mhm.
mean, Plaxico's a wideout. We all know what wideouts are. So, but yeah, man. So like, but we keep winning. We don't have
Right.
all these high draft picks, but we keep moving, and that to me that's organization,
Yeah.
which is why Carolina's doomed.
Okay. On that note, let's go ahead and end it on that note. That, that's we can't say it any better than that. But until next week, I'm Reg.
I'm Rob.
That was the show.